Hey guys, we're going to talk about the Nitecore LR10. This is a tiny little camping lantern. Love it. One of the awesome things I got to say, guys, about being a gear reviewer is you get to see tons of gear. You get to handle tons of gear. And back in the day when the flashlight explosion started a couple of years ago, a lot of the flashlights were very similar. Everything was either a tube light or a big, kind of searchlight, or a little pocket EDC light. And then we started seeing more and more of things like this, the little camp lights, the magnetic base work lights, 90-degree lights, and everybody, whereas flashlights seem to be one and the same, when you looked at it, like everybody had an 18650 tube light. ThruNite had the TC12, Phoenix had the PD35, Olight had the S30. Everything was kind of the same. It was kind of boring, to be honest. It was really just like, this one's 60 lumens, this one's 65, and it just drove me bonkers, because you really felt like you weren't doing anything with the reviews. And nowadays, the flashlight market has exploded so much that there's so much ingenuity in the market, and so many cool things are coming out, that it's really interesting. And Nitecore's kind of doing their own thing, and it's kind of neat. Like Olight's doing their own thing, Nitecore's doing their own thing, JetBeam's doing their own thing. You don't have flashlights that are like cookie cutter flashlights anymore, because everybody's found their style and just doing all this cool stuff. And Nitecore, I think, is really excelling with the small camp lights. I think they're really doing a great job of these. Not only are they small and affordable, and they're very good for backpackers, because they're small and lightweight and pretty tough. But yeah, these things are pretty cool. So we're going to take a look at the packaging. It's going to show up in a little tiny box. Get out of the way, you. Not too awful much going on the box. You've all seen them. So I'm going to pop this out. You have your instructions, which you really aren't going to need, your warranty card, USB cable. Actually a decent little cable. It's fairly thick and robust, a little Velcro holder. Get all that schnoz out of the way. Alright, technical parameters. You see here we have a 250 lumen for an hour, 65 for 5, and an 8 for 38. Good, yeah, I mean, very good variety there. And you can see it has temperature regulation. Oh, I didn't read that. Huh, okay. Yeah, I don't really like instructions. I like kind of figuring this out as I go along. So to turn this thing on, you're just going to do a long press. And you can see it turns on into the lower mode. Then you're going to click the button, and it's going to cycle up into the 3 modes. And this thing is, and now cameras, of course, are very deceptive, guys. So what I want to describe to you here is this mode right here is very dim. You can look directly at it. It's not moonlight, but it's obviously being, these lumens are diffused with this very hard plastic. This is very rigid too, guys. By the way, that is not going to break. I mean, that's. Sometimes these lights come and they're a little flimsy and you're like, ugh, no, this just has a feel like you could stomp on it and it's not going to break. This is not enough to light up a room. This is not enough to read by. This is something, to put a little, almost like a night light kind of amount of light. Now this right here is a little brighter, guys. This is, you can still look at this directly. It's still, you can see like you have a LED on top and then several through here. I know it's kind of bleeding out on the camera, but this is enough to put in a room, to get around an entire room. This will make a room, if you had a power outage. If you were in a tent, this would light up a tent, no problem. Very, good, kind of amount of lumens. Then your bright is actually pretty bright. It's a little tough to look at. It's a little bright and can hurt your eyes. These little green spots all over. You bring this outside at night, this really lights up an area. You can actually see what you're doing, and does a great job of just filling the area with light. So yeah, so work on that focus again. And of course, I thought it said, hang on, I thought it said it had a strobe. Let's see. Light is turned off. Oh, there's your problem. Let's turn that off. There we go. Check that out. Nice thing to have if an emergency in the woods, guys. Okay, long press to turn that off. And we're back. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It says it has temperature regulation as well. Probably something you're going to need, seeing this thing is mostly plastic. So, oh, there's also a power indicator. Turn the light on, hold the switch for 3 seconds. Oh, that was boring. Boy. Yeah. Apparently that will tell you the battery power. So yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. All right. So how does this thing deploy? Well, we have the magnetic base, and I'll see if I can find something magnetic to. You can see this thing will hold itself very well. So you do have a good magnetic base there. Your USB charging is here, and you have this little doohickey, so if you want to hang it, kind of cool, because you know what, if you just want to hang this in a branch from a tree at your campsite, from a nail at a campsite, you know, a lot of good ways to hang this thing. Plus that magnetic base makes this cool, so if you do want to use this as a work light or something like that, you have that option as well, which is always handy, guys. And believe it or not, the side of we have 2 fridges. I know it's like such an American thing. We have 2 fridges. One we kind of use for like drinks, and the other, you know, kind of food. But it's like with the kids, there's always juice and all kinds of stuff like that. So we have 2 fridges, and the second fridge, I know I completely digress here. The second fridge, the entire side of it is filled with magnetic lights, and so this is where this is going to end up go, because it's very easy, because my wife can grab them if the power goes out. If the kids want them for some reason, they're there, and that's going to be kind of cool. So this is something too the kids can use and play with, and I can bring camping, and a lot of good use. And being how small this thing is, I mean, you're talking, you know, that's a small little light. A lot of versatility, a lot of use you can get out of this thing for a not too horrible price. It's really not bad, and I'm really astounded. I thought this was going to be a really cheap plastic globe. It's very rigid. It's very rigid, very tough feeling. No complaints there at all. I don't know if I like the USB port being on the bottom, because what if you set that down someplace and it gets wet, you spill a drink or something? I really would have liked to have seen it on the side, just for a little safety, protection sake. You know, think about this, you're camping, you set this on the table and someone spills a drink, you have that capability for a short there. I know it's protected, but you know how those boots are. You use them for a while and they're just kind of bleh. So yeah, I like this. I like this. This is very backpackable. You know, as far as backpacking lamps, there's not a ton of great ones on the market. This is something I would have no problem taking backpacking, bushcrafting, car camping even. You know, there's a lot of good use out of this. It's, you know, this is something you can put in your tent at night. You can, yeah, just so much you can do with this little guy, and really a great investment for the money. I definitely think this is probably one of my favorite, you know, kind of backpacking camp style lights at this point, just because of the size and how bright it is. So hope you guys enjoyed.